Okay, continuing on with sections. This week we're going to be working on a wall section and some details. I think that's right. Let me look. Oh, we're going to finish out sections and details. Okay. I guess I should have showed you this last week, but here when your things are overlapping your levels, um, select and hit the little elbow there to pull it down, and I'll drag this one kind of way down. And it's kind of hard. You can drag them up also, but it's kind of hard to do once they've done that. So in a case like this, I found it easier to move my top of footing one down, okay, and then go to top of slab, do it, and that gives me the handle there that I can grab and drag up. And then I can move my top of footing back up to level, okay. Just an easier way to kind of move those things around. All right, so we're going to start with, let's go back to section 1 here. And we will do a call out for the wall section here. And you should have seen how to do this in the other class, but I'll pop one here in section 2 because we're gonna do one here also. Okay. And I want to do it right here. I don't know, where do I want to do it? I think I want to do it right there on that corner. Yeah, we'll do it right here, just as an example. So we'll go to view, call out, and I'm gonna click and pull that one in right there. Okay. And then after you've placed it, you can kind of adjust the head up like that. So it's, not overlapping and some of that stuff. Okay. And then that adds it over here as section 2 call out 1. And once you put it in a drawing, then it shows up. Okay. It fills in the head right there. So let's go back over here to this one. And we need to add some detail items in here. Okay. Now I've added a few. Okay. I've added my truss and these things right here. Let me just delete these things here, and I'll show you kind of what we're dealing with. So what we deal with these detail items. They're just like blocks, just like AutoCAD blocks. They're 2D blocks, and they're just 2D. So we're going to go to annotate, and here under detail, we're going to go component. And you're going to want to load family, and I've already got some of them loaded, but these are in the detail items, wood and plastics. Let's go with shop fabricated structural wood, and we're using the medium. Pull this over. Medium load wood joist side view. Okay, that's what we're using in this particular one. So you're going to load that, and then also under wood framing, you're going to need some of these here. Nominal cut section, and you're going to need the 1x6, and you can use control to select multiple of these things and load them all at the same time. I've already got them loaded. Then you're going to need 2x4 and 2x6. So you want to load those, okay? And then what we'll do is we'll put I'm gonna go component. Okay, so you need your nominal cut lumber 2x6, and I'm gonna okay, I can hit the space bar and it'll kind of drag it around, and I want to pop it in there. And of course, just like with so many other things, we want to align and lock. Okay, so we put our 2x6 in there, and then we need our a 16-inch joist. Okay, and so let's kind of drop that in there. Okay, but now with this one particular one, we want no overhang. Okay, so we're going to go 0 inches on the overhang. Okay, now we need a an LVL on the end as a header to pop that into. And I didn't show you about loading that a while ago, but it's the LVA, excuse me, LVL, laminated veneer lumber section. So I want a 1 3/4 by 16. And I'm going to drop that in right there. Now this one got a little freaky a while ago trying to align it and trying to get it to pick up. So I'm going to go there. And then we'll go with the end of the truss. What happened there? I don't know what's going on with it. Anyway, okay, so we get that in. Let's see, yeah, we're on detail level, fine. We've got a plywood subfloor, so really we should have some hatching for that plywood subfloor. So let's go back and look at that. Detail. Sheathing, plywood. Let's look at it and see what it looks like. 3/4. Okay. All right. So there's our plywood. This is our finished floor, which is carpet. So we're just going to leave that because every room is different. So we're going to leave that the way it is. We need an anchor bolt here. And that will be, I still think it's here, common work results. Let's see, fastenings, angles, column straps. No, okay, so that's going to be back in Division 5. Anchor bolts, hook side. There we go. That's what we want. And we don't want a 1.5 inch one, so let's pull that back down to a 1/2 inch. And let's see about alignment. Bingo. Okay. All right. So that got that. Now then in our wall framing, and you can look at the detail in the 14th edition, it's page 517, or excuse me, 11th edition, page 517, in the complete wall section there in the textbook, and that gives you an idea of what you need to do. So here we're going to have a sole plate, which will be a 2x4. Oh, now I'm going to cut lumber 2x4. And I'm going to get it in there kind of close. And we're also going to need it up here under the window. So I'm going to pop one up here. And I mean, you're going to need a bunch of these. So I'm going to go ahead and drop a couple of them up here. Just easier to drop them all at one time. What is going on? There we go. Okay, so you need that one, and let's go ahead and do this one up here. I clicked wrong first. Okay, and now also we're going to need insulation. And we set your width here, 3.5, and then you just drag it along the center line, and that places your insulation. Okay. Um, and so up here, here we run into a couple of issues with, with our gyp board and our overlapping. So really that would be fixed. Here, our siding should not go, all the way up like that. I don't know how to fix it here because we modify the wall in this view, it changes it in the whole deal. Can I edit profile here? No, section. I'm in section 1, call it that. Okay, so in this case, we're just going to let it slide because really the siding would stop down here because we would have 2x4 blocking coming in there. All right, now for our truss roof, we don't really have a W truss detail. So what we'll do is we'll add a 2x4 side view. But we got to load it first. Now I'm going to cut lumber side. Looks like top is what we want. Okay. And I want a 2x4. And of course I drew it, outside of my view there. But what we're doing is we're simulating the bottom of the truss. And then you can, put another one in here. It's kind of a cheap way to do it, but it kind of gets it in there. Okay. Let's see. Did our 1x6, how did it look? No, that's not what we want. So for our finished lumber, let's look at that. Millwork. Okay. And we'll go with the 1x6 for that. We're going to place it because finished lumber has a different pattern, section pattern to it. Okay. That's all part of the window. Let's see what we got for millwork. Not exactly the same casing. Well, the one that we used in building our model is different from all of these. Anyway, so you can see it would have those detail lines in it. Let's go back in and look at this. Um, because we added that. Ah, come on, interior. Okay, well, we'll play with that later. Trim material, interior trim, that's just color. Okay, we'll let it slide for right now with that, okay? But that would get a trim also. Okay, so what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to add a floor joist, of course, an LVL on outside, any 2x4s, 2x6s, anchor bolts, 2x4s, insulation, a window header here. It depends on the size of the window, but I think a two 2x6s on edge, like it shows in the textbook there, would be sufficient. And then insulation here for the, it doesn't really show a soffit, but what it would have is a 2x4 on edge against the wall, and then a 2x4 side coming out. Insulation in the roof. And we got our anchor bolt. Let's see here. We'd have rebar and welded wire mesh in here. So let's look, see what we've got. Concrete, reinforcing bar, section open, okay. And we were going with number 4s. Okay. Now, and the wall would have rebar in it also, but we haven't, said what kind of rebar that we're putting in, because that would be a structural engineer would say that. Let's see if they had. Let's go back and look see if they had wire mesh. I think we were doing wire mesh in Florida. I can't remember. Um, let's look. Water stop. No, that's all rebar. Beams, columns, footings, double T, slab strict. Yeah. Okay. So I guess not then. Often that's just a dashed line that's drawn in there anyway. Um, Brake lines, don't need that. So, oh, here, earthwork. Oh, driven piles. Yeah, that helps a lot. Let's try some gravel. See how that looks. And so really that would be that should fill in there. Okay. And then of course you're going to apply notes, just like we did in the last video. So all of your material notes are going to go in here. dimension to window header height from the subfloor, uh, as it shows some things there in the textbook. Just lots of notes, okay, to get that done. All right, and so now let's go back over to our other call out here. We want to add in some 2x4 and then some wrap to that and a floor joist, which in this case, the floor joist would be um, going sideways. Oh, I'll do that. A little load of family. Section view. 16, okay. And don't get too worried or upset about these kind of things, because wherever you work, you're going to have a template, and that template file is going to have a lot of this stuff already loaded into it. And honestly, I think we would get an LVL wrapping that. Depends on the construction, but let's go ahead and put an LVL right there. It gives you something a little bit more solid to nail to, a little bit better structure. And then your floor joist would, come in however your floor joist comes in. And of course, you're going to have 2x4 plates here, 2x4 plate there, 2x4 plate here. No need for insulation in that, but you will have a note for, your ceiling and your floor. You need to add a plywood subfloor detail there. Okay. And then so you do some notes here and a dimension of head height for that. Okay. And then as far as the drawing goes, on this drawing, go ahead and put your wall section here. Okay. With your notes and any others. If we were to come back and do a detail from within here, we could do another call out. You don't have to do this. I'm just going to demonstrate it. Okay. And so you would have, lots of more detail, more information, things like this about your window headers and things of that nature. And then here we could put this into here. Okay. And you can see it gets it numbered here. Now, of course, we would rename these things based on what they are. Instead of section 1, call out 1, call out 1. They would get renamed as to what they actually are. And so when you get down to these kinds of details, now you're getting more and more scale, so more information would go into it. But that sounds good on this sheet. Let's add the stair detail, okay, that we created. Okay, and depending upon your building and what's needed as to all the details that you're going to have. So you may have stair construction details here. Some kind of if we knew what kind of construction details we had for our window wells, we'd have that. Of course, these being windows in concrete, they're installed a little differently, so they would be a detail for that also. In real life, we're just kind of cutting it, as best we can to give you a feel for how these things go. Okay, so finish that up. If you have a problem, shoot me an email or come see me in the lab.